Third canto, chapter 5, text 26. Kala Vritya Tu Maya Gunamaya Adhokshaja Purushena Atmabhutena Piryam Adhata Piryavan Kala Vidyati Mayayam Mayam Adhokshaja Purushenatma Bhutena Viryam Adhata Viryavan Kala Vidyati Mayayam Mayam Adhokshaja Purushenatma Bhutena Viryam Adhata Viryavan Kala Vidyati Mayayam Mayam Adhokshaja Purushenatma Bhutena Viryam Adhata Viryavan
Chatumayayam Gunamaya Madhokshaja Purushenatma Bhutena Viryamadata Viryavan
Kalavritya Tumayayam Gunamayam Adhokshajaha Purushenatma Bhutena Viryamadata Viryavan
Kalavritya Tumayayam Gunamayam Adhokshajaha Purushenatma Bhutena Viryamadata Viryavan
Kalavritya Tumayayam Gunamaya Madhokshajaha Purushenatma Bhutena Viryam Adhata Viryavan
Yavan Kalavritya Tumayayam Gunamaya Madhoksajaha Purushenatma Bhutena Viryavan
Kalavrita Tumayayam Gunamayam Adoksajaha Purusenatma Putena Vidyam Aratha Viryavan
Kalavritya Tumayayam Gunamaya Madhokshajaha Purushenatma Bhutena Viryamadhata Viryavan
Kalavrita Tumayayam Gunamayam Adhokshaja Purushantamabuvetana Viryamadhata Viryanavan Kalavritya Tumayayam Gunamaya Marotsaja Purushenatmabhutaina Viryamadhata Viryavan
Remains synonyms kala, the eternal time. Nritya, by the influence of. To, but. Mayayam, in the external energy. Gunamayam, in the qualitative modes of nature. Adhokshajaha, the transcendence. Purushena, by the person, by the Purusha incarnation. Atmabhutena, who is the plenary expansion of the Lord. Viryam, the seeds of the living entities. Adata, impregnated. Viryavan, the supreme living being. Translation. The supreme living being, in his feature as the transcendental Purusha incarnation, who is the Lord's plenary expansion, impregnates the material nature of three modes, and thus by the influence of eternal time, living entities appear. Proportionally,
offspring of any living being is born after the father impregnates the mother with semen, and the living entity floating in the semen of the father takes the shape of the mother's form. Similarly, mother material nature cannot produce any living entity from her material elements unless and until she is impregnated with living entities by the Lord himself. That is the mystery of the generation of the living entities. This impregnating process is performed by the first Purusha incarnation, Karanarnava Vishayi Vishnu. Simply by his glance over material nature, the whole matter is accomplished. We should not understand the process of impregnation by the personality of Godhead in terms of our conception of sex. The omnipotent Lord can impregnate just by his eyes, and therefore he is called all-potent. Each and every part of his transcendental body can perform each and every function of the other parts. This is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, Ungani Yasya Sakalendriya Vritti Manti. In Bhagavad Gita 14.3 also, the same principle is confirmed. Mama Yonir Mahad Brahma Tasmin Garbham Dadhamyaham. When the cosmic creation is manifested, the living entities are directly supplied from the Lord. They are never products of material nature. Thus, no scientific advancement of material science can ever produce a living being. That is the whole mystery of the material creation. The living entities are foreign to matter, and thus they cannot be happy unless they are situated in the same spiritual life as the Lord. Mistaken living being, out of forgetfulness of this original condition of life, unnecessarily wastes time trying to become happy in the material world. The whole Vedic process is to remind one of this essential feature of life. The Lord offers the conditioned soul a material body for his so-called enjoyment, but if one does not come to his senses and enter into spiritual consciousness, the Lord again puts him in the unmanifested condition as it existed in the beginning of the creation. The Lord is described here as Viryavan, or the greatest potent being, because he impregnates material nature with innumerable living entities who are conditioned from time immemorial.
Brahma is also known as Jamaha. But Krishna is Papa. Brahma is the grandfather, should say, of all the living entities. But his father is Krishna. That makes Krishna the original person. Adi Purusham, the original person. But then who gave birth to Krishna? Krishna doesn't take birth. He's eternally existing in his transcendental form. He doesn't require a mother to take birth. The other living entities require a mother. Therefore, we have trees, they grow from the earth. But the earth is representative of the mother. And the seeds are given by Krishna. So seed-giving father is Krishna. And the earth, there are 7 mothers in Vedic knowledge. Ado Mata, the original mother, it's the biological mother. Guru Patni, the wife of the guru, is mother. Ado Mata, Guru Patni. Brahmani, the wife of the Brahmin, is mother. Because Brahman is a teacher. His wife is respected as mother. That's why they don't have it's not proper for the because the Brahmin is considered the teacher, the father. Therefore, the wife of the Brahmin is the mother. Then Kripatni, Radhika, the queen, the wife of the king, because the king is also he's like a father. He's protecting all the citizens, making sure that they're doing the right things. So therefore, he's king. Radhika and Denu means the nurse, someone who takes care of the child, either through giving milk, that's one type of nursing, but also taking care of the child. Also, Putana, when she came, it was common practice at that time that if one was pregnant, she had if the child was newborn, and was breastfeeding, then another woman who's also has a child and she's giving milk, she could also give her milk to the other child. This was common. It was common because we can see. Otherwise, Shodamayi would not have agreed to such a proposition. Because Putana, she came there dressed like a beautiful woman, young woman, and no one suspected her of anything improper. She said, "May I breastfeed the baby also? Such a beautiful child." And they said, "Yes, of course." So, Denu Dhatri, Denu means cow, Denu Dhatri. So cow is mother. She gives milk for the human society. It's not by accident she gives so much milk. It's arrangement because she's supplying milk to the whole human society. Denu Dhatri, Prithvi, and the earth is the 7th mother. So, Mother Earth, we say Mother Earth because she's within her womb, she's producing so many offspring. And the father is Krishna. So many times Prabhupada makes this point when speaking with scientists or people, that the mother is nature and the child is living entities. So where is the father? If there was no father, was no evidence of that. We've never seen, we say, we've never seen it except on sometimes those tabloids, magazines. They say that such and such woman gave birth without having been impregnated by a male. They talk about that in the Bible also, Jesus was supposed to have been born without male contact, without physical male contact. On that platform, we can understand, yes, because actually all souls are eternal. It's not that they ever didn't exist. So, in that sense, his appearance is compared to that. Some people compare it to that of Krishna. In fact, some even say it was explained that way because Krishna is the original being, and Vasudeva and Devaki, it was not ordinary birth, because when Krishna appeared, he appeared in four-handed Vishnu form. Ordinary child doesn't, human child doesn't appear with four-handed Vishnu, and also grown and beautiful hair, dressed, decorated with jewelry, and speaking. So this wasn't birth, this is appearance. Therefore, we generally say the appearance of the Lord, because he's not taking birth from a mother. He's eternally existent. We even say appearance of other living entities because they're not really born either. The real father is Krishna. Aham bij pratapita. So that's the point here, is that he is the source. Krishna is the source. He has no mother. In fact, in this universe, every universe in the material world, the Lord appears as his Purusha incarnation, as Garbhodakasha Vishnu. He also, and he gives birth to Brahma by himself without the help of a wife. He can do that. He's capable of doing that. And you could say Brahma also, he has some children that are mind-born from his mind or different parts of his body. That's extraordinary. That's by the arrangement of Krishna. Krishna allows that to make Brahma so exalted, so practically like God. Vishnu and Brahma and Shiva are so powerful. Sometimes people can't tell which one is the most powerful, and they become confused. But we admit that Brahma is very powerful, but cannot be as powerful as Krishna, because Vishnu produces Brahma from his own navel without the help of a wife. Otherwise, it's required. So if the mother's there and the child is there, the father must be there in the background. You may not have seen your father, but he exists. Now, the common philosophy, scientific philosophy, is there's no father. They say that life came about by chance combination of chemicals. So they say that's the philosophy. That's the stream presented. But is there any evidence of that? We have no evidence. We do have evidence all the time that life comes from life. Like, for example, chicken. Chicken has to be female chicken. Hen has to be impregnated by the rooster, cock, or whatever. Has to be. Otherwise, no child comes out. The mother, I don't know the system exactly. They say fertilized and non-fertilized eggs. Isn't it? You want to know about the procedure? But point is, it's all done by the arrangement of nature, and nature is working under the direction of Vishnu or Krishna. So there has to be the male. And we see that all species are coming like that. There's never been an example of living entities coming from just matter without the. That is compare, that analogy is given to think like that is the example of scorpions coming out of piles of rice. Sometimes it happens. So that people see that little scorpions are coming out of rice. And they say, the rice has given birth to scorpions. So rice is not alive. Rice is just matter. So that's the proof. But if you look a little closer, you'll find that before that, those little scorpions came out of the rice. Mother came and she had her eggs there. She left her egg. They may use the rice as an incubator, just like you can use incubator for eggs, put eggs in the incubator. Even they put embryos in the incubator. That's just keeping warm and moist, whatever the conditions have to be. But the mother was there and the father was there, scorpion. So that's incorrect explanation that that's an example of life coming from matter. No, life comes from life, always. And that's the system. And therefore, when challenging the scientists, you say, you cannot make life from matter. Although they say matter comes from life. That life comes from matter. And there was one scientist, he had received a Nobel Prize for synthesizing, supposedly, came up with this theory that life comes from 4 elements. So he gave a lecture, a touring lecture, very, very famous, Nobel Prize. So after his talk, they asked for questions, and one of the members of the audience was Prabhupada's disciple, Swarup Damodar. And he said, if I give you the 4 elements that you said are required to make life, can you produce life? And he said, that I cannot say. And when Prabhupada heard this, he was He was very excited because this proves that they don't have any proof. When challenged, they couldn't come up with any evidence. But yet a hen, she can make another child in 2 days. Makes eggs. She's better science. She should get the Nobel Prize. Why you got it? You didn't do anything new. You couldn't even do what's already been done for thousands of millions of years. Hens are producing eggs. They couldn't do it. But they take the Nobel Prize. So they're falsely proud. Father's there. You may not see the Father. Father may not even be in the place you are. It's even possible amongst humans or some other, Father's dead. Of course, God can never be dead. But the Father may not be living in this particular environment, but there was Father. So now they try to prove who the Father is in cases where they don't know. And they try to do it with genetic examination, try to figure out what the DNA was, what the genes were. That's not a perfect system. It's an imperfect system of finding out who your father is. The best method is to ask mother. And mother will tell you. And in Vedic knowledge, the mother is the Vedas. So we ask mother, who's our father? Janma Jasyataha. And the sutra says, the source is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, source of all living entities and all matter. All matter comes from Krishna, too, from the Father. So material nature doesn't even individually or by herself, she doesn't even produce matter. That's provided for her also. Mahatattva comes out of Mahavishnu. So the real mother, therefore in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is called Mata. The father and the mother is referred to as the father and mother. That's correct. Because actually all the material nature comes from her too, from him. That one person, he's the source of all matter and all spirit. Everything. How can you say God is not a relative? It's not essential to be discussed. We don't need to study it in school. How can you not study if everything comes from this one being? Everything's maintained by that one being, and everything can be dissolved in that one being. How can you say that it's not required to study this? It seems that would be the crucial study. But it's being put aside as being they're leaving just for the faith people who have faith, who are not scientific. That's the implication. They may talk about a God. So it's a difficult situation to preach. But still, Krishna conscious movement is presenting this knowledge so scientifically. It makes sense from all points of view. Whether you look from science, from philosophy, from sociology, mathematics, any field that you examine close enough, you'll see that the Lord is intimately involved in the maintenance and the source and the destruction Therefore, to be a servant of Krishna is the best thing. Servant of God. You assist him in his work. He doesn't need any assistance, but he appreciates it when someone offers to do that. He could do everything himself. Just like a big father. His birthday is coming up. So mother comes to the father and says, your birthday is coming up. I'd like to get a present for you to be given by our son to you. So the father gives some money. Mother goes out and buys with the child something. They wrap it, and the child gives it to the father. The child accepts it. Oh, this is wonderful. Child's happy, everyone's happy. But the father didn't need that gift. That gift came from him, his own stock. But still, he appreciated it. It's love, loving exchange. When the father gets the gift from the child, he takes it very nicely, appreciates it. Any questions?
We were speaking about I can't remember my question. It was about calculating. Like we were talking about the mothers. Oh yeah. So some people, atheists and Christians and atheists, they say that we were talking about this. They say that animals have animal souls. So it's okay to kill them because they're less than us. They're not. So I was just wondering what we would say in response to that.
Someone can answer that?
So actually this happened to me. I just like 2 days ago, I met this guy. He said he wanted to talk to me, and he was older. He's a kind of a Mexican descent. Turns out he's from El Paso, Texas. So pretty in El Paso, pretty westernized, but Anyway, so he was Roman Catholic, and I guess he had studied quite a bit of that doctrine or that theology. So he was giving me a little bit of kickback, and he was presenting himself more philosophically, like, as a type of a philosopher or a thinker. So I eventually told him that we can't understand anything about God until we stop eating meat. And so there's like really nothing to do with this conversation, really. And I tried to be polite about it, but that was as it is. But then he said, well, they don't have souls. Right. So they use that to say that, they use that as a reason, like you said. They're lesser somehow. They don't have them, or they have a different type of soul. So I said, oh, well, how do you know that? Where did they get that? I never heard anything like that. Actually, the only thing I heard from their literature says that we're supposed to be stewards of the earth as human beings. And we're supposed to take care of other people and protect them, protect the other species of life. So then Prabhupada said that he gives an example. I didn't say this to him because right at that moment, Alankar like showed up in his car and he was like, "What are you guys talking about?" And he just sensed there was something wrong. And I was like, "Hey, this is my cue." So I just left with him. Anyway, but Prabhupada gives this example that he says, say you have brothers and sisters, and one of them is a little bit less sharp than the others, or he may have some defect in his body. He may be handicapped. Will he be satisfied if the other brothers want to kill him and eat him? No, he'll never allow it. He'll never allow it that it will happen. They may do it because they're strange. They're just thinking strange, but he'll never allow it, like that. So in that way, we can say yes, their consciousness is much duller. They don't have the ability to discriminate and use higher intelligence to understand God and philosophy and math and all these other things. But they're still alive and there's still consciousness there. So consciousness, Prabhupada says, is the symptom of the soul. So it's like if you take a plant and you put him near a window, he usually goes to the window. Yeah, because he wants the sun to live. So that basic self-preservation is a type of a consciousness. Somehow he's consciously aware that the sun is just that direction. Then he goes that way. And then you may move him away, then he'll turn the other way too. Sometimes you have to rotate plants to make sure that they grow in a healthy way. Anyway, I don't know much about that example, but that's evidence that there's a living being there. Okay, thank you. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.